It's now time for What's Up Asheville, sponsored by the City of Asheville, with the host, Mr. Sam Parada, and here he is.
Hello Asheville and happy holidays. This is Sam Parada, Communication Specialist with the City of Asheville. Here your host for What's Up Asheville on WRES 100.7 FM. With me today we have Clay, what is your last name? Chandler, yeah. Clay Chandler, our new Water Department PIO,
yes.
Communication Specialist basically for the Water Department, and Kelley Klope with Fire. She's been a guest in this show before. And so today, we know with the holidays coming, we hope that everyone has a fantastic time this year. But, you know, the reality is that sometimes things happen, and we as the city want to be very, open about possibilities such as what happened last year with the water crisis during the holiday time. So that's why Clay's here today. And then as the other part of the segment today, we're going to be talking about different ways to remain safe in general over winter. This is beyond any holidays. This winter seems to be very warm until the new year, but these are recommendations that can help you stay safe in the case of a winter storm or, I don't know. You'll tell me more about it, Kelley. So why don't you introduce yourselves to us, Clay? I know you're new with the city.
Yes, so I started in the Water Resources Department as Public Information Officer back in October. My position was one of the recommendations made by the Independent Review Committee after the water outage last year. And it's been great. I've been here, I guess, about 2.5 months now. Everybody I've met has been nice, helpful. I've been a visitor to Western North Carolina for most of my adult life. I've always kind of wanted to live here, and the opportunity presented itself over the summer, and so here I am.
Thank you for, taking the position.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you've been very busy since you started, so happy to have you here.
Good to be here.
And, Kelley, if you want to do a quick rundown of your time with the city.
Sure. So I'm the Public Information Officer for Asheville Fire Department, and I have actually worked for the department, started as a firefighter, and different avenues led me to the Public Information Officer 27 years later. I have been in the area since '94, so I'm very familiar with our community and have seen it grown drastically. And so, my job basically is to share information with our community, keep the conduits of information flowing, making sure that they are aware of everything from incidents that are happening to maybe fun things that the fire department are doing, promotions, manage social media, things like that.
Great. So I guess we can get started with water. I know it's a dual fire-water show. So can you tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the water department during the winter times?
So, obviously we're in the coldest part of the year. Really, the next probably 90 to 120 days is going to be our coldest weather that we'll have over the next 12 months. And so obviously everybody, homes, businesses, wants to do everything that they can to protect their property, protect their water pipes, in case, it does get cold enough where a pipe could burst or something like that. And the best ways to do that are all the common sense ways. Drain all your garden hoses outside, cover your outside faucets, keep your garage doors closed, open your kitchen and bathroom cabinets so warm air can circulate around things like the plumbing, wrap the pipes that are nearest to the exterior walls. Another one that a lot of people don't think about, and this is something that I've learned in the last couple of months since I've been here, most people during the day when they leave to go to work or run errands or whatever will turn their heating system down to a lower temperature, so it won't run while they're gone, save on the electric bill, things like that. That actually can increase the chances of your house cooling down to the point, especially on the outside, where a pipe could burst. And so the best way to avoid that is to keep your thermostat for your heat on the same temperature day and night. Now, it will raise your electric bill a little bit, but let's say a 2% increase in your heating bill is better than a $20,000 problem when you come back because you had a pipe burst and you have a waterfall coming down your stairs.
Do you have recommended temperature?
So, I mean, 60-ish would be great.
60-ish.
That's really, really cold for a lot of people. Anything above that obviously is acceptable. It's just all going to depend on how much you want to spend on your heating bill every month. 55, 60, I know that sounds very, very cold, but that will keep your walls at least warm enough unless you have a window open or a garage door open or something like that. That'll keep the outside of your interior spaces, your walls, warm enough to keep water flowing through those pipes.
Thank you. I know there is some maybe misunderstanding or, about do we leave the taps open?
When it's very, very cold, probably if it's going to fall below like 20 degrees at night, drip water when you go to bed.
Water.
And you don't have to, it doesn't have to be coming out like you're filling up a coffee mug or anything.
Exactly.
Just a very, very small and steady drip to where the water in that pipe is not sitting still. Water is most likely to freeze, as we learn when we're in elementary school, it's most likely to freeze when it's still. If it's moving just a little bit, a drop every couple of seconds out of the kitchen or bathroom sink or something like that will drastically decrease the chances that the water will freeze and bust the pipe.
And do you need to do like every bathroom and every sink in the house, or do you?
Let's say you have a multi-level house, you have 2 stories, do one on at least every level. If you have single-story house, do a bathroom, at least one bathroom in the kitchen.
Okay.
That should keep you pretty much covered.
Thank you. So is there are there any other tips you have?
So, again, just common sense stuff. Close your windows, close your garage doors, drip water, open the bathroom and kitchen cabinet doors to keep warm air around those pipes, and keep yourself safe.
And that's why Kelley's here, yes. But before we move into that, I do want to talk a little bit more about last year. So if you want to give me a quick rundown of exactly what it has happened, and I'll go from there because I do have some questions for people to remain safe.
Yeah, the very first thing that I heard about, even before I started this job, actually, when I was sort of doing the onboarding process, was the water outage during the holidays last year. And there were a million things that had to go wrong for that event to happen the way it did, and every single one of those million things went wrong. Number one, it was brutally cold. On top of that, the timing probably could not have been worse as far as the holidays because demand was through the roof. People had, family and friends in for the holidays. Our water demand shot through the roof. And when you combine that with 0-degree temperatures and pipes busting all over the city and spraying water out that didn't reach where it was supposed to go, you have what the event turned into. And so the last 12 months, well, let me back up just a little bit. Right after that event, the city commissioned an independent review committee to study the causes, maybe study some solutions, and put some recommendations in place. And so that's what they did. And since then, the past several months, the Water Resources Department and Emergency Response and Communications part of the city have sort of been in the process of implementing those recommendations. Now, on the water side, our work to implement those recommendations, you're not going to see like a new water plant being built or something like that. You're not going to see a street torn open replacing a service line. It's not going to be tangible, visible changes. What it is going to be is, for example, water resources and a lot of the other parts of the city have started and are engaged in ongoing emergency response training, the development of an emergency response plan, continuity of operations plan. We have a dedicated valve team now that goes around the city, documenting every one of the 18,000 valves that we have in the system.
Wow.
And so I know people hear 18,000, obviously that's a lot. And this is an involved process. Let's say, for instance, these valves are not on the surface; they're below the surface. And when the valve team gets to a certain valve to inspect it, mark its location, Is it 2 turns open? Is it 4 turns open? Is it closed?
Every single one of this needs to be...
Every one that meets like a size requirement. So not all 18,000, but it's going to be several thousand. Getting those marked, located, documented as far as position and things like that. That process started a few months ago. And is probably, I think, as of like last week, that team had completely processed over 100 of these very, very large valves that are on like the main service lines that are 24 inches and 36 inches and something like that run down the major thoroughfares that carry, the water that goes to your homes and your building, your businesses and stuff like that. Another big part of the recommendations is something that was probably already happening, what we call the AMI meter replacement project, which means we're taking old analog meters, 63,000 of those are all 63,000 connections, and replacing them with meters that can be read remotely. For example, the way it works now is we have crews driving around in a truck who can get fairly close to a meter, point an instrument at it, and read water usage data. The way it'll work now, we will completely eliminate the need for people to drive around and collect this data. These meters can transmit it to us. That process started midsummer. Again, 63,000 connections, and we are about 7% complete with that.
So it'll take a while.
It's especially at the beginning, because new meters, contractors having to, go into people's yards, open their meter box up and replace them. There's always, things to fix from the meters that are already in the ground, especially at the beginning. And so that's why it's been a little slow to get off the ground, but we're really hopeful that over the next year or so, like the pace really picks up because people are familiar. We've been able to develop best practices, identify the most likely problems. And so we expect substantial completion of that sometime in 2025. And that will be another big tool in our toolbox should something like the water outage happen
because
again.
During the water outage, there was the question of when is my house going to get water?
Sure.
And that was one of the big obstacles that we found.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing here is that the water department is taking steps to actively, currently, avoid a situation like last
100%.
year's. We're prepared when it comes to communications.
Sure.
The best outlets to do it, and that we have you to help out with that.
Sure.
And you're also taking steps for the future.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we appreciate that.
Thank you.
And so I guess final question for you right now would be, in case that during the winter, I'm not talking about a big water outage, but in case that you do lose water, the process of getting water back, it's slow and it requires effort from both the water department and citizens.
Yes.
Because what happened last year is a lot of people who got water immediately turned it on, took a shower, did a lot of laundry, and
Demand shot through the roof again.
then the pressure went back
and the
down.
pressure went back down.
Yeah. So if that's the case, we're a community. We need everyone's help. So if anything happens like that again, just get involved. Follow us on social media. In emergency situations, we post ongoing events. So just keep up with us and
Sign up for AVL Alert.
also sign up for
Please.
AVL Alert.
Yes.
Kelly will tell you a lot about
yes.
that. No, thank you, Clay.
Thank you.
And Kelly, your turn.
Well, let's go a little deeper into that AVL Alert. AVL Alert is an emergency notification system that is voluntary. And so we cannot sign the community up for it, but we highly recommend the community signs up for it. You can find it on City of Asheville's website, fire department website, police department website. AVL Alert is just basically, it's a reverse 911, and if there is some type of emergency from a water outage, shortage of water, water department currently uses it. If they know you have low water pressure or something, they'll notify the areas. We as first responders will notify you if there's severe weather coming, flooding. We'll give you recommendations of what to do. We use it for missing persons. We don't overuse it. We use it for emergencies, And that's what we want the public to understand. We're not going to constantly call, text. It is for emergencies. And so, again, we highly recommend that each individual go ahead and get into that system. It is, you set up a quick profile. You can put up to 5 addresses. So you could put your child's school address. You could put where you work and put where you live. Even if you didn't live here, you could put in your parents' address. If you want to know what's going on in someone's area, you can put up to 5 addresses. And then you can also choose how you want to be notified. Is it by text? Is it by phone call? Is it by email? And that's the way we will notify you. So again, we highly recommend it. We use it for emergency purposes, mainly emergency purposes only right now. But again, if you have any questions, just call City of Asheville Fire Department. We'll help you sign up.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I think I missed it, but you can also opt out of it at any point. So, I don't recommend you do this, but it's completely optional that you do this.
Well, when you say opt out, again, you're not even part of it unless you opt in. So if you start getting too many notifications and you're not happy with it, yes, you can opt out. Other communities, other cities use it for information sharing about events and things like that, and there's check boxes in there. We haven't really gotten to that extent yet. So water department uses it regarding water situations, and then first responders, emergency personnel, we use it for emergency situations.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam, Rickle, one thing I'd love to add is the water department does use it. For example, we had a couple go out this morning because maintenance crews were working on a hydrant or a valve or something like that, and they send it only to the affected people. So if you live in West Asheville and there's an operation going on in South Asheville that might cause a drop in pressure or something like that, West Asheville won't be notified. They will not be part of the notification, and so you're not going to get something that doesn't pertain to you.
Yeah.
Only if it affects you will you get it.
I mean, I get them all the time. You have a crew or water, and it's like, okay, am I going to lose water? No. Yes. Thank you for telling me. At least now I know, and I can take the steps. Yeah. But yeah, so like in case of a winter storm heading our way.
Right. And that's something really great. Like when we talk about winter weather preparedness, the great thing is that's something we can prepare for. We generally know if the temperatures are going to drop, if we're going to get snow. We may not always understand how much, but this is something that we can prepare for. And so we highly encourage our community to do so. First responders, City of Asheville, we're constantly we're prepared. We train for it. We up staff. We do what we need to do behind the scenes. Streets departments might be salting, doing different things, but we're doing things to prepare, and we ask our community to do the same thing, just so that they're more comfortable. It's not that we can't respond to you or won't respond to you. Sometimes in winter weather or other severe situations, we might not get to you as quickly as we want, so therefore we ask that you be somewhat prepared. So as we're talking about winter preparedness, and Clay talked a lot about how to prevent your pipes from freezing, things like that, that's always a good idea, is to, hey, are my pipes insulated? Am I ready if this temperatures drop? Other things I recommend is have a preparedness kit, meaning can you survive and be comfortable for 3 days without power and or water? And what does that look like? And so what we do is we recommend that you put together a kit that has things that would make you comfortable. Everything from food, can opener to open the food, because you have to remember you might not have electricity. And so if you have an electric stove, even a gas stove, does it have an electric starter? Can you ignite that stove? Things you got to think about, having lighters, having candles, things that are going to make you and your family comfortable. So it's not always just the necessities such as food and water, dog food. It's medication. It could be games for kids, coloring books. Think about how you're going to entertain your kids when they don't have their electronics, their cell phones. What are we going to do? So every kit could look different because it's going to fit you and your family. Other things to consider during winter weather is, have you had somebody check your chimney, a professional sweep your chimney before you start building fires over and over in it? Have you had somebody check out your furnace? Not only is it good to go, but is it efficient? You don't want to be wasting energy. Always keep enough propane or oil before a winter storm comes. Always have enough gas in your car, things like that you have to be prepared ahead of time. Again, we generally get that weather report, so we know it's coming. And so we ask that you be prepared. Have your sleds at home and start being prepared for being snowed in versus getting your car and going somewhere.
Right, and that's something that really affected me when I first moved here. I'm from Florida, so we don't get snow.
Yeah.
And our first winter here was a learning time for us. We didn't realize we needed those ice
scrapers.
The window scrapers,
yeah. And just sitting down in my car for like 10 minutes waiting, hoping the snow will melt. We ran out of power for a couple of days around Christmas time, and we were cold. We were cold. We had plenty of canned food, but we didn't have a can opener.
Yeah.
So there was an issue there. And just so many little things that, we learn as we go. But there's resources. What's that website?
It's called ready.gov.
Ready.gov.
Ready.gov will give you all the resources you need for yourself, for your family, and don't forget to check on your neighbors. If I were your neighbor, I'd be like, oh my gosh, how's Sam doing? Sam's not from here. Does Sam need any help?
He did.
Yeah. Or maybe you have somebody, an elderly next door that might need additional help or assistance. So just, we're all in this together. I want everybody to remember, we're a community. We're in this together. And again, first responders, you are our first priority, but if we are inundated with weather as well and struggling to get to places, it's going to slow us down, and we're going to prioritize. Does somebody need to get to dialysis, or do you need us to open your can of food? You know what I mean? So we do need to prioritize too, but it also slows down the response time, and we are overwhelmed with 911 calls at that time. So you do have to understand, if you can take care of yourself, you're going to help everyone else in this community make it through this winter situation we might be encountering.
Yeah, and you have a good idea of how much water a person should have, how much food per person, and it's going to range based on the size of your family.
Yep.
Do you want to tell us a little bit of those pieces of advice? Sure.
And again, ready.gov covers this, but they do recommend that you have 3 days supply for each person. And they estimate that one person needs about 1 gallon of water per day, and that's for consumption. That is not for flushing your toilet or other things. So that's something when I think I might lose power, I immediately fill my bathtub. I live out in the country. I have a well pump. I'm not going to get water. I immediately fill an extra bathtub so that I have water on hand for whatever I might need it for. Boiling it and then using it, whatever. So think ahead like that. And again, ready.gov will cover that. But again, don't forget about your animals. Make sure you have your enough food for your animals, water for your animals. And again, the kids are going to get bored. So what kind of games? Make it a good experience. Maybe you're tent camping in the living room. Make it an experience for everybody. But we will make it through it. And we're a great community. We do care about our community. And, we learned a lot during the water crisis last year from, again, how to flush our toilets. People were really struggling with how to flush our toilets. How do we bathe? Where do we get water? And again, having a lot of water on supply, having water jugs, filling them pre any major weather coldness. We had not just low temperatures, we had low temperatures for days.
Yeah.
And that's what really hurt us.
Yeah. And I mean, I was affected by the water outage, and I still had to come to work smelling. And, I didn't prepare properly myself. So I was lucky enough to know a few people who the water didn't affect them, so I could get drinking water. Eventually, we did gather a bunch of, those big gallons. Yeah. And, but at the end of the day, too, it was really important to me to check up on those neighbors as well. And we did have people go door to door. So I do appreciate that from this community. And I do want to say, I lived through it, so I know how uncomfortable it could be. But at the end of the day, I'd rather not go showering for a few days, but, have those resources to keep me alive. I know we had the 211 water service for people who couldn't get hold of water. And we were just very active, and I do appreciate the fire department for that. The water department was doing the best they could. We didn't really have holidays last year.
Right.
So now that we are more prepared, in case something like that happens, we want to assure you that we'll be there every step of the way. But yeah, just take the steps necessary. We can only help you so much.
Be prepared.
Right. Yep. And again, like I said, we're all in this together. So even though it came in as a water crisis, we, the fire department, police department, all of us are in this together. And so we all joined forces, and we were able, fire department, I know behind the scenes, was able to connect and get truckloads of water delivered. And we used firefighters and other city employees over the holiday to deliver water door to door, trying to help people out. So yeah, it was not a comfortable situation. It was a learning experience for everyone, and that's why we encourage people. We think it's never going to happen to us, but it can. So please, just take some preparation upon yourself, and as a community, let's try to be the best prepared that we can.
And that brings me to a final point. Like, let's say that, for example, we lose power for who knows how many days. When is a good time to call an emergency service? Because I assume if the whole city loses power, you're going to be inundated with calls. So is there a process that you go through? Like, do you prioritize something over other stuff? And me, as a member of the community, when do I call you?
Well, as you can understand, we, the fire department, we're not going to be able to get your power back on, right? So only call for an emergency. I mean, you have to know that the city, whoever the power company might be, is working day and night to try to restore that power. But if you or a neighbor is in a situation where you can't eat for some reason, and you can't, whatever life safety issue, then you call 911. During those times, if it gets that severe, shelters will be opened, and there will be opportunity to get transportation to shelters. A fire department, they don't do that alone. We work with our local Red Cross. We work with our Parks and Rec to open community centers. People open churches, somewhere where people can go that maybe there is power, that they can provide power. There are generators. Not everybody has a generator, right? So, but you wouldn't call 911 just because your power goes out. So it's not until there is some type of a life-threatening situation that you would want to call 911. And again, we'll do all we can to help you. And thank goodness I've lived here I've lived here almost 30 years. And when the power has gone out, it has only been, a day or two, something like that. It's not been a long time life-threatening. The people that are in the life-threatening situations are those with medical issues normally. The elderly, if they don't have power, they don't have means to heat themselves. Someone like you has the means to be able to get up, get around, and do for yourself and try to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather not, but I'm going to call the fire
It's
department.
uncomfortable, but it is not life-threatening.
Kelley, come pick me up.
And that has happened, so, we will do all we can.
Well, I know this show has been a little bit on the what ifs and the emergency side of things. It's not very comfortable to talk or think about. I personally would not want to go through that again. But if it does, I know that, we'll be okay at the end of the day. We have an amazing crew of people working behind the scenes at any given time. And, just enjoy your holidays and prepare yourself so that in case something does happen, you can continue enjoying the holidays and make it a theme out of it. Because, there's only so much that any given person can do. Thank you so much for having us, Clay. It's very nice to have you here.
Thank you.
I know you're going to be doing great things for the water department.
Thank you.
I know they keep you very busy as well.
Very busy, yes.
And Kelley, it's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
I know you've been already... Did you start working for the fire department when you moved to Asheville?
I lived here a couple of years, and then I started working in 96.
96.
I moved here in 94.
So you've had
it's a long career.
It's an
amazing career. A very, educational. I've seen a lot of things over the years, and Yeah, it's a great, I feel very great to be serving this community, and it's definitely home. It's the longest I've ever lived anywhere, and definitely home. So it's been an amazing career, and I still enjoy it every day.
Well, it's great working with you too.
Thank you.
And that's all the time we have for today here on What's Up Asheville on WRES 100.7 FM. Be good to another Asheville, and happy holidays.
You've been listening to What's Up Asheville, sponsored by the City of Asheville in collaboration with WRS 100.7 FM. This program will re-air every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12:30. Thank you for listening.